Let's focus briefly on the fat channel here that's designed by Studio One, Persona Studio One, that is. And as usual, we are in Studio One 3 Professional. All right. I get that question a lot. This is the professional version. So I'm not really sure if you will see what I see because I have the professional version. If you have the artist or the free version, I'm not really sure if this is available for you. So if you don't see it, that's probably most likely the reason why. Now, I'm going to do something that I love doing all the time here. Just dragging over. Bam. That's lovely, right? I just like that. This is the song I'm working with. I have an artist that I'm working with, and this is the style we're going with. And for the sake of this video, I want to show you how the fat channel works. Now, as you guys know, I always show you guys how to save or conserve CPU, and that's my main thing. Why put EQs or compressors or reverbs on each individual track when you don't have to? That's going to eat your CPU up here, all right? So to avoid that, I use things like bus or auxiliary channel and put all of the compression or reverbs on that channel. Say I have a bunch of BGVs or like drums or whatever the case may be, and I'll have a bus channel or aux, either or, whichever one you wanted to call it, it's the same, and process everything from that one channel to avoid having each individual plug-in on each channel. All right, that's the concept behind it. Now, this fat channel is pretty awesome to me because it's pretty much a channel strip. It has about 5 plugins in one. All right. So it's like, okay, here's your filter, which is your high pass filter or your low cut filter here, which is pretty dope. So that means you don't have to go to the EQ section and try to, manipulate that there. You got your gate section here. All right. Then you have your compressor and of course your equalizer here. And then you have at the end of the channel, of course, none other than the limiter. All right. The limiter should always be last on your channel. So as you can see here, I have this one channel here that I labeled Tom. So we're going to work with this right now. So the first thing I hear is, let's add a compressor here. And the good thing about this is you can see the gain reduction as you dial in the threshold. Let's exaggerate a little bit here. Now let's bring up my gain up some. All right. You can see the gain reduction here off to the side, this little right strip, whatever this is. And then you also see it in your mixer window here on your channel itself, which is pretty awesome. You can also control the ratio of the gain, of course, and you can switch between soft, and I guess if it's not activated, it's probably hard. Then you have your attack here down here and your release. All right. Now, if you choose to use the auto feature, which is standard with most compressors, it's right here. You can automate it, but I choose not to use that. You also have your gate here. I don't really see the use of using the gate in this instance because the sound that we're working with here is pretty clean. So I'm gonna turn this off. But let's go to the equalizer here. Now, as you see me do so far, I have to activate each section here. Otherwise, if you start, playing around, you could definitely see these little nodes move around back and forth, up and down, but it's not doing anything. That's because you have to turn it on. All right. Let's get everything back to Unity. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. So you have your basic 4-band EQ here. Now, even though I turned this on, you're still not going to get anything. That's because you have to activate each band. Now we can begin to make some adjustments. I can also adjust the peak here or the trim. And you can kind of dial in, specifically wherever, you want to boost or cut. And then you can also activate this, I believe it's the shelving here, you know. All right. Say, we just going dramatic right now. And like some people will do, they will probably play around with the low EQ section, the bass, or whatever you would call this section right here, right? And create a high pass filter like that. But you don't have to do that. You really don't have to do that, because you can just activate this low cut right here. Bam. It's right there for you. Already laid out one knob to get that job done, right? Pretty awesome. Now, last but not least, the limiter, which should be at the end. Let's activate that. Now, let me show you guys something. Let's deactivate this compressor here. So we don't see gain reduction anymore because obviously I turned the compressor off. But you will begin to see it when I dial down on the threshold here for your limiter. You can see the gain reduction happening right here in this little rectangular box below the knob here. And you can also see the gain reduction happening in your mixer window as well. Can't forget to show you guys that, for those of you that don't know much about how this stuff works, there's also presets. You can start from presets. There's nothing wrong with starting from presets. Presets actually helped me a lot. It helped me give me, a generic understanding as to what it should sound like, or what their idea was when they made these presets. And after you make these presets, you can obviously go in and make your adjustments, tweak around and move stuff around however you need to. So you got stuff for guitars, you got snare, drums, different type of drums, you got your horns, your keyboards, percussion, also your vocal section, you got the male and female. And if you have a speech going on like me, you can do your thing like that. Percussion, your cowboy, tambourine, stuff like that, which is pretty cool. All right. You can also, play around with setting up, say you want the preset, a certain preset to come up that you set all the time. Every time you go and drag this in, you can also replace the preset here. Or you can store the default or whatever you want to do. Or you can load presets from files that you downloaded from elsewhere. This menu right here is pretty much available in every plugin. So, that's just there. All right. I think this is a really awesome plugin because, like I say, you can get 5 different things going on in this one plugin and avoid all of the extra stuff that you would need to put in. Not saying anything against other plugins, but for instance, you might need this or whatever. But I still use the Pro EQ here. I still use the compressor because they are definitely separate from what the Fat Channel is doing here. Obviously, the compressor here is more intuitive here. The EQ is a little bit more detailed. You can go in and really, really dial in those EQ, those different points that you need to adjust. So, but for just something like you know what I mean, like I think this is pretty cool for like bundling up a bunch of tracks and put them in. Yeah, well, it depends. I'm not gonna say what it's good for. It just depends. It really depends on you and how you want to use this plugin. Anyway, I hope you guys learned something. It was very simple, straight, cut, dry plugin. I like it. I love the way it sounds. And stay tuned for more tutorials. This is your boy Ella. Music is art. You're the artist. Paint your picture.